Gynecological cancer is diagnosed in nearly 115,000 women every year, according to the American Cancer Society. Our own Savannah Harrison talked with doctors at Cox Health about the symptoms that women need to be on the lookout for. Savannah, good morning.
Good morning. Well, doctors at Cox Health tell me that 1 in 80 women will develop one of these types of gynecological cancers. They include uterine, cervical, and ovarian cancer, as well as a couple others. Now, most of these are very easy to diagnose and treat. However, some, like ovarian cancer, are harder to screen for and just as hard to treat, especially when caught in later stages. Doctor says you should keep up with your regular health checkups and keep a healthy lifestyle to prevent them. They can present many symptoms you should look out for.
So any woman who is post-menopause, who has vaginal bleeding, should seek medical care. That's the most common presenting symptom, and thankfully we usually diagnose it fairly early. For ovarian cancer, those symptoms are a little bit more vague. So abdominal bloating, feeling full faster than normal, any abdominal pain, cramping, lower back pain.
Now, like I said, many of these cancers are very easy to treat and are cured with good success. For now, reporting live in Springfield, Savannah Harrison, KY3 News.